The federal election was rigged, just not in the way you think. Let's talk about it. Let me be clear, the federal election was rigged, not with ballot stuffing or hacked machines, but with something far more insidious and far more sinister. This election was rigged culturally, structurally, and ideologically, and the results were locked in long before anyone cast a vote. First, it was rigged by a legacy media class that overwhelmingly leans left. Most so-called journalists in this country are little more than activists masquerading as reporters. They don't report the news, they massage it. Their job isn't to hold power to account, but to shield it, so long as it's power that they like. They ran cover for Anthony Albanese every time he lied to the public, and he lied often. They gave him a free pass while ignoring, smearing, and outright defaming right-leaning politicians who offered real solutions to the very real problems our nation is facing. Is it any wonder Australians voted for Labor when all they heard was Labor propaganda delivered by a media class in bed with the political left? Then there's the public service, supposedly non-partisan, but in reality a bloated bureaucracy that exists to protect itself and expand government control. Of course they want Labor in power. Big government is their meal ticket. Try unseating Labor and you're not just fighting a party, you're fighting an entire bureaucratic empire. Worse still, the education system has been captured. Our schools and universities, once places of learning, are now breeding grounds for radical Marxist ideology. From childcare to higher education, our young people are being indoctrinated. They're not being educated. So, of course, young voters lean left. They've been taught to since they were toddlers. From childcare to university, radical left-wing ideology has become the default. The institutions that once taught critical thinking now teach conformity to progressive dogma. So when millennials vote Labor, it's not surprising, it's programming. They've been taught to do so since they could walk. That's why Labor wants free childcare, because they know early indoctrination pays off. These aren't really early learning centres, they're taxpayer-funded re-education camps. And let's not forget mass migration. For decades, governments, Labor and Liberal alike, have flooded the country with people from nations where state dependency is the norm. These new arrivals, many of whom rely on government assistance, overwhelmingly vote for the party that promises to protect those handouts. It's not subtle, it's deliberate. It's importing voters. Finally, the election was sabotaged from within by internal Liberal Party factions, more concerned with power plays than national interest. These self-serving operators undermine their own side, helping deliver victory to Labor while clinging to influence behind the scenes. So yes, the election was rigged, not by massive levels of fraud, but by cultural capture. And here's the real kicker. When Labor wins, they actually govern. Their ideology seeps into every part of the nation. The bureaucracy, the schools, the media, the law. They reshape the country in their Marxist left-wing image. Relentlessly. When the Liberals win, what do? Nothing. They don't even have the balls to defund the left-wing ABC, even though it actively campaigns against them. They won't oppose authoritarian nonsense like banning social media or call out the e-safety commissioner. They won't abandon the net zero fantasy, even when they know it's economic suicide, because they're afraid of alienating the soy latte sipping elites in the inner city. They won't stand up to the UN, the WHO, or the WEF, terrified they'll be called nationalists. Heaven forbid they put Australia first. They won't call for a serious immigration reform because they're scared of being labelled racist, and they also benefit from having a subservient, dependent population. They won't tackle spending because they don't want to upset the welfare class. In short, the Liberals are cowards and they are complicit. They are not an opposition. They are controlled opposition. Until the Liberal Party is dismantled and replaced by a movement with true conservative conviction, Australia will continue to spiral into managed decline. Anyone still promoting the Liberals as a solution is on the wrong side of history and are only acting to protect their own positions. We need something new, something bold. The future of this nation depends on it. I'm Senator Alphabet for United Australia Party.